The following may contain offensive language, adult humor, and or content that some viewers may find offensive. The views and opinions expressed by any one speaker does not explicitly or necessarily reflect or represent those of Mark Radulich or W2M Network. Please listen with caution, or don't listen at all.
Hey! A triple feature, 3 films up on the screen. One's a little heavy, one's a little sleek, and one's just caught between. We'll laugh and cry and overanalyze, dig through themes with wide, wild eyes. Grab some popcorn, take your seat. 3 times the fun, 3 times the treat. Triple feature, that's what we're here to do. What we're here to do. Buckle up, the lights go down, and we'll watch them all with you.
Oh, yes, sir. It's the sport of kings, better than diamond rings, and that's why we're here to sing football. Yes, sir. It's that time of the year again, Jason.
It is. It is. You caught me mid-drink. It is. It is Super Bowl. The lead up to our Super Bowl, this Sunday, we always do a Super Bowl show prior to the actual game.
Yep. Before we're going to talk, and I'll repeat this in a few minutes formally, but this year's celebration of football in the Super Bowl, we're looking at, and I think, Jason, you picked all 3 of these. Necessary Roughness. Yeah, this is all Jason's show. Isn't every Jason a Jason show? Necessary Roughness, Varsity Blues, and the program. I don't know if you chose the program or not, but I love the program. I couldn't wait.
It's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite movies simply because
it's so 90s.
Yes. I mean the belly shirt, Steve Lattimore in a belly shirt and sweatpants with a belt on is so totally 90s.
It's so he's in both the program and Necessary Roughness.
Yeah, I was saving that, but yes, he's in Necessary Roughness program. So is the guy that plays Mac. He is also in Necessary
That's right. Who I looked up his Wikipedia because I'm like, what else he's been in? Oh, only sports movies in the 90s. Got it. What a career.
And also, I also have a funny joke when we get to the program.
Okay. Before we get into the introduction and the actual podcast, let's talk a little real sports. The Magic and the Nets suck. Let's talk football, though. Who do you like this Sunday? And before you answer, let me say this. I'm going with the Seahawks. I'm going with the Seahawks because they have the best defense in the NFL. And poor Drake May has no O-line. So that boy is going to be like Wile E. Coyote. And he's just going to get sacked all game. There you have it.
I know this is probably going to be an unpopular opinion. I'm wanting the Patriots to win, but there's a reason.
Okay.
I don't care which team wins.
I don't have like Patriot derangement syndrome the way a lot of people do. So you're not going to offend me. What's your case?
Well, because if the Patriots win this Sunday, win another Super Bowl, it shuts all Steeler fans up. For the Patriots would now have the most Super Bowls wins in history, so Steeler fans can shut the fuck up.
That has to be a very West Virginia thing because I didn't know.
No, the Steeler fans are insufferable. I mean, but
I don't deal with Steeler fans. I've lived in either New York or Florida, so I'm not hearing a lot of Steeler fan talk. So like I say, this must be a very West Virginia thing.
It's online everywhere.
Is it?
But but I mean, I'm a Sam Darnold fan, and I love JSN.
Mm-hmm.
I also like Drake May, and I like the coach for New England. He's a psychopath.
What's your bet? What'd you bet?
I put 10 down on the Seahawks to win, but the Pats to cover. Drake May for over 100. May and Darnold both for over 150 yards, 1 touchdown apiece. And I took JSN over 50 yards, Cooper Kupp over 10 yards, and Stephon Diggs over 25 yards.
So you did like a 90-leg parlay. Got it. What's your payout if it actually hits?
My payout's like $279.
Okay. I put 50. I only did 3 because I'm not a psycho. I'm a very efficient bettor. I just bet a lot. But I got Seahawks money line. I've got Sam Darnoldson over 2 touchdowns thrown, and I've got JSN over 6.5 receptions for a payout. For a payout on $10 of who's yada yada yada.
Really compelling stuff to start the show.
Yeah, 175.91. But that's like that's kind of like my betting model these days is get to like a plus 128 on a $50 bet, and it's the old prop Joe from The Wire thing of you buy for 1, you sell for 2. Bet 50, bet 50, net 50. Bet 50, net 50. That's what I do.
Hey, that's perfectly fine. And a lot of people when they're doing, and this is kind of funny because I actually starting March 1st, I actually have a college class on sportsbook betting. But a lot of people don't look at it like that. They look like
this is why the federal government took away people's rights to get loans. Go on.
Actually, it's a mathematics class for statistics. But they say, well, I bet $10 and won 120, and I'm like, no, you won 110. They're like, no, I paid out, and I'm like, you got to take away your $10 you bet. You're just getting that money back.
If I bet 50, I didn't win 100. I bet 50, I won 50.
Right, and people don't understand that. So I've got a NBA going on right now. I mean, I had $1.64, and I bet it to pay out $13.
Well, I'm fucking okay. So I have a 4-leg. So sports betting and working from home has turned me into just an all sports watcher. So like I wake up in the mornings and I watch ladies tennis. My girlfriend says it's because I like to hear them grunt and wear tight outfits. She's not wrong. The second thing I've gotten into is soccer, specifically like Saudi soccer, because it's on in the middle of the day and it's fucking hilarious. Like the team that I bet on, it was Al Hilal versus Al Akdud, and Al Hilal won like 6 fucking goals to nothing. It was great, like the best soccer I've ever seen. But I did a 4-leg bet. That one won, and I've got the Nets and the Magic to go over 209, which they might make it, but they have to make me fucking sweat because like they couldn't find the fucking rim for the first half of the game, the first quarter of the game. And then I've got the Charlotte and Rockets over 213, and then I've got if I make it that far, the Warriors versus the Suns over 212. And that pay on 50 that pays 210. What you got for tonight, buddy?
I just took all money lines. I took the Magic, Hawks, Raptors, Rockets, Spurs, and Suns all money line. Like I said,
you like lottery ticket betting. You like lottery ticket betting, don't you?
Well, to get any significant payout, I'm not going to bet $1.64 to win $3. So I just went on money lines, so I can at least get $12 to pay out.
That's fair. All right. So you want the Patriots to win to shut the Steelers fans the fuck up, but you think you're with me and most sane people that this is Seahawks all day long.
Yeah, as long as they don't get down to the 1-yard line and decide to pass and get an interception.
I'm thinking it's going to be close to the game with. I think it's going to be a spanking. It's going to be like in the 40s for the Seahawks, somewhere between 10 and 20 for the Patriots.
I think my prediction is I'm going to say 30 to 29. I think it's going to come down to a failed 2-point conversion.
Let me ask you a quick question since we're talking football, and I think this is okay. And it's the last general football question I ask you before we get into the films, which is why we're here. Why do the O-line suck in the NFL wide?
Because nobody develops that position any longer. Nobody wants to be an offensive lineman. They want to be a stat sheet rather than a contributor. You have too many egos just like in the NBA. Nobody wants to be that Dennis Rodman type player that will go out and be a vital cog. Everybody wants to have enormous stat sheets and have no defense and try to win championships and jump on super teams rather than actually be.
Well, when the when the Patriots lose this Sunday, it's their own fucking fault because Drake May's a good quarterback. He has targets. Problem is he has no time, and he doesn't have Lamar Jackson legs. So he can't. So, I mean, the fucking Tampa would have made it further into the playoffs rather than the stupid Panthers had they had an O-line. Like I watched football all season, a lot of Monday Night Football, and I swear to God, the difference between a winning team and a losing team was their ability to protect the quarterback.
I mean, if you want to see that.
Because not all these guys have running back quarterbacks the way fucking Ravens do.
If you want to see that, look directly at the Chargers, who are destined to get Justin Herbert killed. I'm pretty
Justin
sure.
Herbert all season long. Oh no!
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in Necessary Roughness. There's a scene that reminds me of Justin Herbert in Necessary Roughness. Once we get into the film of that.
All right. Good conversation. Tonight on Triple Feature, we're covering 3 football movies from the late 80s and 90s that approach the sport from very different angles. Varsity Blues, The Program, and Necessary Roughness. Varsity Blues, directed by Brian Robbins and written by W. Peter Iliff, was released in 1999, stars James Van Der Beek, fresh off his Dawson Creek run, Jon Voight, Paul Walker, before he died, and Scott Caan, and made about $54 million on a roughly $16 million budget. It's the small-town Texas football movie. Pressure, injuries, and a tyrant coach that became a cult staple. The Program, released in 1993, was directed by David S. Ward and stars James Caan, yet again, Omar Epps, Greg Sheffer, Kristy Swanson, yet again, because we can't get enough Kristy Swanson on this network, and Halle Berry. It aimed for a darker, more realistic look at college football, steroids, and exploitation, grossing around $23 million and becoming best known for its controversies rather than its box office. And finally, for some shits and giggles, Necessary Roughness, from 1991, directed by Stan Dragoti, stars Scott Bakula, Robert Loggia, Sinbad, and Kathy Ireland. It's the disgraced team rebuild comedy made for about $13 million and earning roughly $25 million, and it helped codify a formula Hollywood would reuse endlessly. 3 movies, 3 tones, 3 decades of football storytelling. Let's get into it. You wanted to start with Necessary Roughness, which is the exact opposite of where I wanted to start it. So, but this is your podcast, Jason. So go ahead and take over. Necessary Roughness.
Necessary Roughness. It was ahead of its time. It was this down and out football team, and this is kind of loosely based on the scandal from the 80s where SMU received the death penalty after having a winning season for a lot of recruiting violations, paying for players, and everything. So that's where the loosely based storyline for Necessary Roughness come from. They went out, they took a look because SMU basically received what the NCAA calls as a death penalty, where they had to forfeit it like multiple seasons, and I think it took like 2 to 3 years before SMU even fielded a football team. They had no scholarships, so they did exactly what they did in Necessary Roughness. They turned to the student body, and it was very rough. SMU did not rise to a prominence till the mid 2000s. That's when the program actually rebounded from getting the death curse to actually build up to where to be a decent mid-major program, what we see today. Scott Bakula in this movie is I think he's 35, if I remember correctly.
Doesn't look a day over 40.
No, he's a 35-year-old former high school prodigy quarterback who is recruited, who comes out as a freshman and leads the Armadillos to a reputable season. Now, along the way, we get some characters like Featherstone, Sarge, Maui.
Who's the ninja?
That's Sarge.
Okay.
And that's one of the funniest scenes. Is the penalty at the end of the game.
Him fucking kicking and punching people on the field isn't funny to me. The
Yeah.
referee
Yeah,
calling
that's
penalties,
Yeah,
calling fucking penalties as he's doing
yeah,
it. He's like ninja kick, like whatever he calls it, and he's like, forget it,
yeah,
15 yards, unnecessary roughness.
yeah. And then as it progresses, you see some people added to the team. Most notably, Sinbad, who is a student, is actually a professor at the college, who has 1 year eligibility left. And then they have their kicking woes, and the assistant coach uh, looks and recruits a female soccer player, which is Kathy Ireland. And
Not the
which
first time nor the last time that'll happen in a football movie.
No, but it was actually the first time it was depicted on. It was actually the first time in a football movie a female was portrayed on
I'll
screen.
amend myself. Not the last time you'll see that.
That
kind of becomes a staple of a lot of these football movies, is bringing a girl to do something, mostly kicking.
and that led to a lot of females actually playing football. A lot of it's contributed. Seeing Kathy Ireland, who at the time was a supermodel, being on screen portraying an athletic position as kicker on football, and it struck up a lot of female interest in football and trying to participate. And up till I think it was 3 years ago, many females had played collegiate football as kicker, but up till 3 years ago, you've seen the first female play as a defensive back for a school. I think it was in Kentucky, in the middle of Kentucky. So you do have females on it. Not, and I'm pretty sure. I think she lasted a couple of games, and then she realized that it was a bad decision when you're actually.
This is going to end with me in a wheelchair, if not worse.
Yeah, she took a few, because you're going to take liberties. Football's a contact sport. You're going to take liberties. I think she got her bell rung a few times, and then she kind of was like, "Yeah, I don't want to do this anymore because I may end up paralyzed."
I get that. I used to work for a professional wrestling company, and I'm not going to tell the whole story nor take up too much time with this, but when I realized that in order for me to be really successful with this, I'm going to end up getting hurt a lot, and I still may not be successful, and I think I owe myself a better life than possibly getting CTE from chairs to the head. That's when I quit wrestling.
Right. And as a brief shout out, my cousin Sam will be watching this, hopefully. One of the best lines of this, and a lot of people don't pick up on it, but he picked up on it immediately, and it's been a running joke for us since we actually seen the movie in theaters in the little town of Logan that we grew up in, is when Kathy Ireland kicks the 40-yard kick, you have the guy repeat himself 3 times. He goes, 40 yards. And then somebody asks him, they go, how long was that? He goes, 40 yards, man. And then he repeats it again. He repeats the words, it was 40 yards 3 times. And he does it in such a stoner-esque thing. And it's no emotion ever. And it's one of those subtleties that we found extremely funny. And like I said, it's going on. It came out in what, 90? What was it, 91? If I remember,
91, yes.
Yeah. So you're looking at 35 years of us laughing about that one line that was significant to no one but us.
All right. So let me tell you, I saw this when it came out when I was a kid. I don't think I ever watched the show. I was aware of the show because I believe it was on USA, and it had the hot McNulty's hot wife that Jesse and I fawn over, whose name escapes me at the moment. And I think John Stamos, now that I think about it.
Kathy Siegel?
No. But if you look. So anyway, to the person in the comments who sent that in, that you want TikTok for that sort of thing. So anyway, oh gosh, I can't remember her name now. Doesn't matter. My point is, this was at a time where this was happening a lot, where a movie would come out, it would have a modest success, and there would be a sitcom about it that would at least last maybe a season. Like Gung Ho being the big template for that. But someday I'll actually have to make somebody watch Gung Ho because I talk about it enough on here. I like Necessary Roughness. I want to spend a little bit of my time talking about this movie, singing the praises of Sinbad. Sinbad is an underrated actor and a comedian. That guy had charisma for days. He actually has genuine acting ability. Like, the problem is him, Bernie Mac, a lot of the black comedians, they got pigeonholed into certain roles based on their stand-up, and all they were ever asked to do was their stand-up. So, like, if you've ever seen Sinbad's one of his more, every comedian has like a famous bit, and that's what people know them for. From Jim Jeffries to Sinbad to Eddie Murphy to to modern comics of the day, there's always one bit that people are known for, and his was, someday you're gonna go to McDonald's and all there's gonna be on the register is pictures of food because kids can't do math. Sinbad the Prophet.
Right.
So, but that's what that bit is what he was known for. But Sinbad was also he got a lot of sitcom work. I believe he was on A Different World. And then he was on a couple of other things, and he kind of just played like hip elder statesman black guy. And that's all anyone ever asked of him. And it's not that different from his character in this one, but him and Scott Bakula have a lot of good chemistry together. He has some really funny lines. He's believable as a football player. The guy is huge. Like, he's a tall guy, he's a beefy guy. So it's absolutely believable that he could play football. When he's talking about astronomy and like you see him teaching the class, it's believable. It's a really good acting job. You believe he knows that stuff. You believe he can teach it. Scott Bakula as sort of the tough as leather ex quarterback who missed his chance because of family responsibility. He absolutely carries the movie. He's really good. Like, whatever you think about Scott Bakula, whether you knew him from Enterprise or gosh, what was the other sci-fi thing he was known for? Was it Sliders?
Yeah. No, Quantum Leap.
Quantum Leap. I knew it was one of the two. Whether you knew him from Quantum Leap or Enterprise, Scott Bakula is a really good actor, a very good television actor, and I think he carries the role well. The scenes with him and the teacher are not great, but I think that's more on the actress playing the teacher. She just comes across as like Ann Coulter cold. She's not a very warm character, and those scenes to me aren't as good as they could be. And every other place where this sort of thing is tried, like Kevin James and I think it was Selma Hayek had more heat in Here Comes the Boom than Scott Bakula and this Ice Cube does. So, in fact, he might have had more sexual chemistry with Ice Cube. The cast is filled out by some funny, memorable guys, which you have to have in order for these movies to work. So you have Manu the Samoan, the only Samoan not related to The Rock, and he's fine in this. He's doing the I'm Samoan thing and everything. That is my entire character is I'm Samoan. But it works. Yeah. It's fine. They don't need a lot from him. He doesn't need to give a lot, and what he gives is adequate. The guy playing Sarge, who's a martial artist, and when they allow him to do funny stuff, it's some of the best gags in the movie. Outside of that, everybody else is not memorable to me. Like I said, to the point that I'm having a hard time remembering talking about them. I will say this: the two coaches, Robert Loggia, he has the best monologue in the movie. At the end, when they're in halftime. And it's the this doesn't work speech, and yes. It's not only delivered. Robert Loggia is a legend in movies. He's a great actor. He has such passion, and he has a very memorably grating voice. But better than his performance, better than his voice, is what he says in that scene. Like, Necessary Roughness isn't going to win awards for screenwriting, but there is some pretty decent dialogue, and his "this doesn't work" speech, I think, is the best thing about this movie. Because he's talking about how they are trying to be a team that they're not. He's trying to be a coach that he's not. They have their best success when they're just themselves. Win or lose, you're at your best when you're just being who you are instead of trying to be something that you're not, which I think is a lifelong lesson and a pretty universal lesson. So, do you have anything else that you want to say about, or if you want to piggyback on anything I've said about Necessary Roughness?
No, I mean I think you covered everything, and you see the best part of Necessary Roughness is the fact that it's it's relatable. I
Yeah.
mean, everybody could find somebody on this team to relate to. And that goes to something that we may talk about in the future. I think I actually mentioned it for next year is when we talk the replacements. Similar
Mhm.
vein of the movie, a similar premise. It has somebody that you can relate to.
Yeah.
That's why I think this movie resonates with a lot of sports fans. One, because it's got some hilarious spots in it.
Mhm.
Most notably, when I made the Justin Herbert reference earlier, is when the backup quarterback gets in the game and he takes a snap and he runs behind the ref and starts screaming, "Blow the whistle!"
Yeah.
And we get and what's great about this movie is we get a look at a young Rob Schneider,
Yeah.
who is the
Robert Schneider before he became a big, before he became a self-parody.
yeah, and he's the PA of the Fighting Armadillos. Also, you see, this is one of the bigger on-screen movies where you see actual football players participating, making cameos. You see Mean Joe Green, you see Herschel Walker,
Fucking Evander
and
Holyfield's in this.
is he? I didn't know Vander
He's one
Holyfield
of the
was in it.
dude. That prison. They do a tune up. So we didn't really get into like the premise of the movie, but the villain of the movie is the dean of the college, and he's of course football. College is for academics, not sports. Because colleges also are communists and don't run on money. Anyway, so he's trying to fuck with the football team because he doesn't want them there, and they're already on thin ice as it is, as this is a comeback squad after all of these penalties that they suffered. So one of the things he does is, hey, I helped you guys get a tune-up game in order to prepare you for the season, and it's and it's a fucking prison team, and it's led by Dick Buckus, fucking Evander
Yeah,
Holyfield, and there's a whole bunch of like star athletes that walk off that bus.
I did not know. That's a good catch. I mean, you got Chris Berman, you got Earl Campbell,
Hmm.
Roger Craig, Vander Holyfield, Ed Two Drop Jones, Jerry Rice, Herschel Walker. I mean, you have a lot of athletes cameoing. And remind me off air, I'll tell you a little something funny about the dean. But I think we've covered everything unnecessary, Rob. So
Yeah, just
let's get a seat at the table.
really, really quick. I didn't want to mention. God, he's not even in the cast list of what I wrote. Okay, never mind. If ChatGPT couldn't be bothered to list them in the cast, I'm not going to be bothered. All right, let's get into what the program was next, right?
Yes, we're taking a seat at the table, first team defense with Steve
Sure.
Latimer at the program.
I fucking love the program. The program was I saw it when it came out. I've watched this higher learning Judgment Night. There's like a handful of movies that existed in the early '90s when I was developing my film slobbiness that I must have watched a million times. I don't think the program is anything that's quotable the way higher learning was. Like higher learning, as Jason and I talked about one Black History Month ago.
Yeah.
What are you two doing there? Plotting? I think their entire review is just me quoting the movie. The program doesn't have that kind of relatability. It's visually relatable. Like there are things about the program that visually I remember. Latimer's fucking face makeup. Holy
Yes.
cow. Where he's the Grim Reaper,
skeleton.
basically.
The
Yeah.
skeleton face makeup. Yeah.
The sexual, all the stuff I remember about this movie is about Latimer. When
Well, I
he's like,
mean, yeah,
when he's
it's
in this,
because he's the most notable character in the movie.
well,
He's just
you're
shit
supposed to
crazy.
sympathize with Omar Epps and whoever Schmo plays Joe, but the kid who's the quarterback, you're supposed to have sympathy for because he's traumatized and neglected and a drunk, and you don't. I forgot Kristy Swanson was in the fucking movie. I remembered Omar Epps because he's token black guy, and then who has to deal with the chip on his shoulder, and then but yeah, you're right. The most memorable character in the goddamn thing is Latimer from his size, his professional wrestler look, but also because he has the most unintentionally funniest fucking scene in the movie when he's throwing the girl around the room.
Yeah.
You know,
Now, which version did you see? Did you see the original cut or did you see the edited?
I saw whatever is available on Amazon Prime for rental.
Okay, so you didn't have the original cut. You well, I mean, you said you seen
Was that
this.
scene worse than the original? Because I remembered it being worse. Like she fucking gets like
No, no,
javelin thrown across the room.
No, that's all real. The only difference between the original theater run that was out for about 2 weeks, and what you see now is there's a scene right at the beginning of the movie when they're in the bar and James reading Sports Illustrated. Well, it flashed forwards to a little bit later on in the night, and they're laying down in the middle of the highway, and he's reading the Sports Illustrated issue, and he keeps saying, "Yeah, they tell me that I do well under pressure," and like Alvin Mack and Latimer's like sitting there, like they're like, "Can we just go? We don't want to do this anymore." And like he's just sitting there reading Sports Illustrated on the yellow line in the middle of a highway.
Right. I remember. Well, first of all, when I was doing my notes, which started with, "Oh my God, was Kristy Swanson in all the movies in the '90s?" And the answer was yes. But
Yes.
I was talking to ChatGPT about the program, and it said, yeah, it was more known for the reading in the middle of the highway thing than it was anything else about that movie. And I'm like, really? Because that's the last thing I fucking remember. I was reminded of it once it said it to me, but that was I didn't even remember that part. It was not impactful, Jason. So let me ask you.
The reason why it was impactful because the reason why it was cut out is because there was like kids out there mimicking it and getting ran over because.
Oh yeah, no. I know it was impactful to the rest of the known universe. It wasn't impactful to me. Then again, I didn't lay in the middle of the road because I saw it in a movie once because I'm not a dumbass.
Well, 90s kids, dumbass. It kind of goes hand in hand. Us Gen Xers kind of are dumbasses.
No, if you're like, Mark, don't be a snob. I know you imitated something from the 90s. Yes, I imitated kids. I wiggled my penis in my bathing suit.
Okay, that's more information than I needed, but okay.
You seen Kids? I should make you watch Kids one day.
No, I don't. I don't want to see it. I've heard it. It does not.
The 80R sound effects in Kids is mwah, just kiss.
Yeah. So, and also, we're going to talk about Omar Epps, who was the most decorated athlete of the 90s, who went on to become a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Because not only was he in the program, he was also in, what was it? It was a basketball movie he was in, and he was a running back in another football movie. But yeah,
if they didn't need young black guys in sports movies, Omar Epps would have never have had a career.
Yeah, I mean, Omar Epps was great, and then he went on. Since he had 3 full-ride scholarships, being the absolute prime of Peak's physical specimen, that he went on and worked for Dr. House on House. Sure. So Omar Epps, I'm trying to see here. I know he was on. I know he was in this. I know he was. I want to say it was maybe Love and Basketball. Yeah, he was.
That sounds right.
Basketball, and he was on. He was also in Hire and Don't Be a Menace.
Yep.
And he was. Dude, we basically did an Omar Epps episode last year. And I didn't realize it. I didn't realize it because he was in, and he also played in Major League 2, replacing Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, that's right. He takes over for Willie Mays Hayes. So, all right, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the movie, and then you can kind of chime in. I love the program. I think the program is a lot of fun to watch. It is a cautionary tale about the pressures of college football. Told as sort of with the tenor of an after-school special. The only difference is that it's got better acting in it, better actors, I should say. It's a little bit more intense than something you would legitimately see in an after-school special. So it does rise to the level of major motion picture, but it's very much like here's Here's a quarterback cracking under pressure who comes from an abusive household, whose father doesn't love him and is a drunk. And we're going to watch him fucking unravel and do reckless stuff. Here's Omar Epps. He comes from the sticks, and and he's black, and he has to deal with, and because every one of these movies has to deal with systemic racism of some kind and inter black fucking self-hatred, because again, he has to deal with classism. So Halle Berry's in this, because people should know Halle Berry wasn't always an Oscar-worthy actress. She did some shite. And so Halle Berry's in this, and she plays the black version of Kristy Swanson, and she's the black female lead essentially.
Basically, because she's a black academic scholar,
and she's dating like a well-to-do black athlete, and his whole thing is like, I'm not gonna let some fucking dumbass kid walk in, take my position on the field, take my woman. I'm better than you. He's basically black MJF. And and it works. It's one of those movies where it's fun to kind of see them deal with the fact that, like, because sometimes the way, especially on film, especially back then, black people were sort of presented as sort of a monolith, where it's just like, it's black people and then a bunch of different kinds of white people. Nope, different kinds of black people too. And there was as much classism in the black community as there was in the white. And like Halle Berry's dad is just like, why are you dating some ordinary athlete when you have a guy who wants to be a doctor who wants to bang you? What's wrong with you, dumb girl? That may have been different in the movie, but that's how I heard it.
You just layman's terms.
Yeah. So I would say the thing to talk about and really just kick back and forth for just a little bit is the Latimer stuff, because Latimer and Featherstone Featherstone are the two biggest.
Well, Mac in this.
Mac, Mac. Sorry, I think I have that character name wrong, but it's the same guy. They have the two biggest cautionary tales, because in one instance you have a guy who everything is football, and he literally comes from like a floorless house in Arkansas or some shit. And if this doesn't work out, he has nothing. So football becomes his life. And then he gets so critically injured, his life is over. And then there's Latimer, who wants so badly to be a part of this football team that he's willing to do anything, including, abuse steroids. And it nearly gets him. Frankly, had he not been a protected college athlete, he'd have gone to prison for the felony he committed.
And that's touched on at a different aspect too, is the protect. But yeah, I mean, with Alvin Mack, you see it. It's not the injury. He breaks his leg, but they treat it like he's like he got diagnosed with bone cancer and has 6. But yeah, I mean,
who are you to judge?
Yeah, you see at the beginning of the movie, you have where he gives. It's Christmas. It starts off with Christmas because they just missed the bowl season. They didn't become bowl eligible, so everybody's home for Christmas. And Mac's an incredible athlete who is dumb as a box of rocks when it comes to school, but his football IQ is off the charts. I mean, kill everyone. Hit the quarterback so hard his girlfriend dies. Stuff like that. But he's dumb as a box of rocks. He can't read. He's illiterate. And, it shows the perils of that in the college. Right. But he gives his mom a like brass door knocker with the name on it. And he says, once I'm drafted next year, I'll buy you the house to go with it. And, it's basically, the cautionary tale of the black man getting out of poverty and becoming a star athlete. And all that's taken away with, I think, 2 games left.
Yeah.
Then you have Latimer, who, for the 4 years he was part of the football team, he was on punt returns and kick returns. And then all of a sudden he puts on 35 pounds of muscle over one stomach.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
Right. And he goes, and like the coaches all know, and they go, well, you kind of bought that. He's like, yeah, I hit the weight room pretty hard. It's like, we don't think that. We don't think that. And then you have, then they try to make
was the weight room gamma irradiated?
Yeah, I mean, I wish it would have showed him prior to the thing, and then showed the transformation.
Looking like pre-Captain America Steve Rogers.
Yeah,
just fucking Schwarzenegger from the Critic. No one must know.
Yeah, but then you see him. Like I said, one of this movie has one of the. I forgot about the scene, but it has one of the most disgusting scenes in on somebody getting puked on. Is when Mac. It's the first game of the season, and Mac and Lattimore walk up to each other and spit in each other's mouth. I think that's absolutely disgusting.
Whatever, pussy.
No, I mean, I'm saying in that era.
Okay, fine.
In that era. Now,
I've seen far worse.
I know we have. You have, Mark. We won't talk about that. This is a football show, not your vanilla test show. No, I mean, it's I'm not going to king shame or anything, but I mean, at the time, that was kind of disgusting. I mean, to each their own, but two grown men spitting in each other's mouth is not
I would like to remind you of the internet game we all played called Two Girls, One Cup.
I never played that game.
You're a
liar. I swear on my mother's grave. I can firmly stand behind that one.
Okay.
Now, Blue Waffle can't stand behind that.
Tomato.
Well, I know. I'll just say it. Two Girls, One Cup. No, Blue Waffle. Unfortunate.
Okay.
But anyway, the early days of the internet. It was lawless.
The Wild West.
Yeah, but and you got Joe Caan, who is a fucking basket case. The dude has a serious fucking issue. Okay, he looks like a vampire for one.
So there's no mom in the picture. Dad's a drunk and doesn't support his football playing, and the story with a lot of these guys is if it wasn't for football, they'd have nothing at all. And it just repeat. It's one of the downfalls, essentially, of the program. But I think it's a industry wide problem that is condensed for dramatic purposes. They have to, if you look at the NCAA, look at every just football, and see how many of these people have anything to go back to. Probably better than more than 50% don't. So, but the NCAA is also ridiculously huge. Ask me why I know that. Because I've been paying attention to sports betting lately, and there's like a zillion games a day of either NCAA men's basketball or when it was on, NCAA men's football. Well, not that there's women's football, but my point is, if you take that, I mean, there were 50 guys on a football squad?
Yeah, you usually get, well, I mean, if you went by NFL rosters, there's 53 people on the NFL roster. I say you have the equivalent to, not counting the experts and everything, you probably have about 50 to 53 people.
And between between divisions 1 through 3, how many football teams? A zillion?
Oh God! Wow, that's actually a good question. I've never thought of it. It's well over 300.
So 50 times 300. Yeah, a good percentage of those people are going to be poor and without much of much future things to look forward to if they don't play pro ball. And we talked about this with I can't remember what movie it was, but it was the year that we did the two that had just been in theaters, and then We Are Marshall. One was about the middle-aged guy.
You're talking about the Kurt Warner story and Underdog, the Kurt Warner story,
right?
And I can't remember the other movie.
Yeah, but that one was about them the one guy sitting out of a bowl game unless they agreed to renegotiate with the NCAA and start paying athletes.
National champions.
Right. And we had that conversation back then, and we'll probably continue to have it in the future as long as we do these, that for a lot of these guys, their one shot at being able to make a decent living is the NFL. And the NFL is finite. There's X amount of teams, there's X amount of positions, and you are competing with a zillion other people.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. That brings up a very interesting thing now. With the current NIL deals, If you're going in round 2 or later, you should never leave college early. And it also brings up the whole transfer portal that's in place, because not long ago you could, if you transferred, you had to sit out a year. Now you're getting paid to play, and you've got the kid that left Tennessee that demanded like $5 million a year, and nobody wanted him. Ended up going to UCLA and failed, and it proves that the transfer portal. I mean, just in the 2025 bowl season, Marshall lost their head coach Charlie Huff to a inter division rival, and they didn't have enough. They had so many people enter the transfer portal, they didn't have a team to field to play the bowl game. They had to field the bowl game.
There's been talk of that on TikTok around the time that it was happening. Not just that specific incident, but just that there was people were doing internet TikTok commentary on the problem with the portal.
Yeah, the portal has ruined college football and college basketball as well. I mean, you're making, that's like, I seen a kid the other day. It was on TikTok. He said he's a high school phenom and everything, and they're like, well, where are you going to college? And he flat out said, whoever pays me the most money. He said, I don't care about my education. He said, I said, I'm looking to get paid. Right. And I was like, well, if you enter the draft, he's like, why would I enter the draft when I can go to college for free and get paid what I would make in the NBA draft?
Yeah, look, I get the kid's point, and we're talking about the early '90s here. This is long before anyone gets paid to go to college. So for a lot of these kids, it is literally the NBA or the NFL or bust. It isn't that way now. Now you can make an argument for you've got a decent chance of making, like, fucking, for fuck's sake, Jason. Some of these guys can come out of college, start a podcast, and get a couple. Look at just, I don't want to get too far off the path here, but look at Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. These people had deals in place as they were leaving college, and their endorsement deals between college and the WNBA were more than what they got paid in the WNBA. Ask me why I know that, because that's all Angel Reese talked about.
Yeah, and Angel Reese would not have the star power that she has without Caitlin Clark. And Caitlin Clark is
Angel Reese. Look, I don't think Angel Reese is like, God's touched child or anything. But be fair, the woman managed to get brand deals all on her own, regardless of Caitlin Clark.
Well, it's because of the notoriety from one game against Caitlin Clark. Angel Reese wasn't even the best player on her team. She got a viral moment against Caitlin Clark, who is arguably the greatest female basketball player currently.
Tallest midget.
And we see that we see all the hate she gets because, I mean, we won't go into that, but she gets a lot of hate for specific reasons.
Talk about racism in sports. Let's talk about the program some more.
Okay.
I very much enjoyed this movie. It's very much a product of its time. Your final thoughts?
I think the program is a very.
By the way, is it really fun that we're doing this podcast and we're both keep checking like the other sports on our bets?
Yeah, yeah.
Like the most distracted you and I have ever been.
But I think the program is a very underrated movie. I think if you're a sports fan, especially a football fan, you definitely need to add it to your watch list. Go watch it, and it's basically loosely mimicking some of the SMU stuff, but it's pretty much made to look like they're Florida State with the colors and everything in their game schedule. But yeah, I mean, the program is one of those cautionary tales that you see in sports, and you want to see the success. And like we talked previously, there's really no likable characters in the program. There's people that are like horrible, but you can't help but like them.
Well, Omar Epps gets his shit together by the end of the movie.
Yeah, but he's insufferable. The first 90% of the movie, he's insufferable because he's a highly recruited player who projects that, just like many players that come in thinking that the world's going to be, and then they get to the school and they're not the hot shit they thought they were while they was getting recruited.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about Varsity Blues.
Yes.
I had to have seen Varsity Blues at least once, probably when it came out, and then never again in my life. Because when I watched Necessary Roughness in the program by myself on my iPad. Varsity Blues, I made sure to watch with my kids, and it was so funny because I told them we're only going to get to watch one of these, and I let Jonas pick, but I said check the parent. Jonas, check the parents' guide. Make sure there's nothing. Pick the one that doesn't have any issues that we're going to have to deal with because I don't want to put up with shit from you or your sister. And he was like, right. Honestly, I just should have shown him Necessary Roughness. But
Yes.
but he swore up and down. He looked at the parents' guide for Varsity Blues. And I know that there was a movie around this time with the girl doing the whipped cream bit because Chris Evans will do it in
Not another teen movie.
Not another teen movie, making fun of it. But I couldn't remember if it was this or another movie that somebody does that in. I thought it, I didn't remember it was Varsity Blues. I thought maybe it was 10 Things I Hate About You or any one of the movies that Not Another Teen movie was making fun of at the time. So I nodded off at one point in the movie, and I woke up, and both of my kids were like, "We didn't know about the whipped cream," and I'm like, "Oh boy, damn it!" Yeah. So there's that. Like I said, I know I saw this when it came out because some of it I vaguely remember.
Yeah,
like the whipped cream scene. I had to have seen the whipped cream scene in order for me to remember it. I vaguely remember the fat kid. I definitely, yeah. And when I saw the scene, I did in fact remember, because it was the only impactful thing about this movie to me, was why did he drop the pig off? He's like, well, you'll know how to take care of it. And I was like, oh, that's a suicide allusion. And then there's the scene where Billy Bob's like, the fuck, I've dedicated my life to football, and all it ever does is hurt me, and he's shooting his trophies. So
yeah, well,
that I remembered. So I have seen this before, but it's been decades.
Yeah, Varsity Blues is a special place.
Okay, tell me about your special place, Jason.
One, it's my nickname at work, and the way I got my job, and my boss loves to tell this, is way back in the days of young Jason. Back when I was at Glenville State College, I was a bit of an alcoholic, Mark, surprisingly.
You're getting your own song about that, you and Pat. Do you know that?
No, I did not.
Yeah, that's why you season 1's on an episode of Sessions, because I'm turning that into a drunken bar song.
Oh, okay, excellent. I did not know.
Calling me Share Too Much Blues.
But way back in the day, I was a bit of an alcoholic.
Sure.
And I might have got drunk, and one of the guys that lived on our floor had a pair of cowboy boots that were about my size and a cowboy hat.
Mm-hmm.
And I might have got inebriated and went walking down the hall with nothing but his cowboy boots and cowboy hat on, a football bat, singing "She Broke My Heart, So I Broke Her Jaw."
I don't know why you guys pick on me for my naked exploits when you've all, except for Robert and maybe Jesse, have naked exploits of your own.
Oh, I've never picked on you. I just don't do it. I do it in college, not in my adult years. I blame like frontal lobe development.
Whatever. Pants are a tool of the patriarchy. Down with pants.
But I mean, as long as you know me, as long as I've known you, you've been down with pants.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, I mean, and that's how I told that story in my job interview, and that's how I landed my job now.
Nice.
But Varsity Blues is one of that and Friday Night Lights, probably the two closest realistic football movies. I mean, you have the
I think I saw Friday Night Lights when that came out too, but I definitely did not watch the show.
Well, I've got a story about Friday Night Lights, the movie Friday Night Lights. I actually knew Booby Miles. I got to know him via Facebook, actually. But Bud Kilmer is this completely asshole coach that winning is everything. You have Lance Harbor, who was Paul Walker, who is the best quarterback in the state, the starting quarterback, the dreamy stud muffin that everybody wants.
Mm.
And then you have Allie Louder, who is extremely hot in this movie, and she's the head cheerleader who is dating Paul Walker, and once he gets hurt and his season's over, she kind of moves on to John Moxon, who is the backup quarterback, who has every bit of athletic ability. He's just a dick because Bud Kilmer is a dick to him, so he gives it right back. And he's going to Brown. He's just trying to go.
He's just trying to get out of high school and go to his Ivy League school, like we
Right.
all do.
And he's using football because, he's an intelligent kid. He's dating Lance's sister.
Well, you got to remember, football is a cultural thing in Texas.
That's what I was getting.
Yeah, he's doing the cultural norm.
Yeah, and football in Texas is a whole different spiel. It's a different monster itself. I've seen football stadiums in Texas that rival NFL stadiums of today. There's one that just opened. It's a $65 million stadium for a Texas high school.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's ridiculous and that's insane. But you go through, and the some of the best lines from this movie come from the little brother when his dad asks him, "Have you started a cult?" He says, "Yes, these are my people." And you got
him awkwardly maneuvering the cross that he has lashed to at the breakfast table had me in stitches.
Yeah, and then you have Billy Bob, who is the heart of gold. That
he is drinking syrup in the car while driving. I just want people need to understand the finer details of Varsity Blues. When we meet him, I can't remember what he's eating, but he's drinking syrup.
He's eating like a stack of if I'm not mistaken, it's like a stack of pancakes, and he's washing it down with syrup.
Yeah.
And then he's got a pet pig named Bacon.
I could see the diabetes.
And then you've got Charlie Tweeter, who is a basket case of things, and it comes up, and one of the great lines involving Tweeter is where they're talking about him after he steals the cop car. He says he flashed the ladies down at the Rotary Club. He had no waiters up on the glass.
Do me a favor, keep going. I will be right back.
Okay, but you have Billy Bob, who is this lovable overweight kid who can't seem to do nothing right. He has self-esteem issues and everything, and it leads to him, and alluding to what Mark was saying earlier about the whole suicide thing. Billy Bob he gets a concussion, and his concussion, due to Bud Kilmer, leads Billy Bob from passing out and letting Lance Harbor get blindsided and destroyed, ending and tearing his ACL. And we find out that he's had ACL issues long up to this, but Bud Kilmer's been giving him cortisone injections so he could play, therefore not caring about the well-being of his star quarterback. He was just caring about the win. So Billy Bob goes on, he gets hurt, and he's like taking it. It's a middle blow to his ego, because he is the aforementioned anchor of the team. He's the moral compass. He's insanely likable, and Bud Kilmer is just giving him hell about costing Lance the team Lance Harbor, and it leads to him getting kicked off the team, and therefore, without football, Billy Bob has no purpose in life. Also, one of my favorite lines of Twitter, when I actually still use this occasionally, because Mark, me and you like to talk of movie quotes. I'll randomly look at somebody and go, couple Vicodin, couple beers, and the panties drop, and it's nice. And if anybody's ever watched the movie, they look at me and go, Twitter, you think you're like? I go, it's nice.
Can I tell you how my kids' takeaway from this entire movie was essentially, don't strip at the strip club near the school you teach at. It's not that hard.
Right, and the hot for the teacher moment is funny, and the whole male fallacies conversation is quite funny. I mean, this movie has a lot of heart to it.
Let me tell you
realities.
Let me tell you, for me, this movie is all Jon Voight. Jon Voight is the devil, and the thing of it is that Well, it's easy for me to say that if Jon Voight's character were here right now, he would say, "What was I expected to do? Football is a religion in Texas. When
Right.
there's killing babies, and then there's losing a football game, and I'm not sure which is worse." So when you've set up a cultural meat grinder that the way they have in Texas football, then everything gets sacrificed to it, and that just becomes the norm. And I'll tell you, there's no excuse for what he does to James Van Der Beek in the locker room, because everything up to that point I can justify with what I just said. I cannot justify him putting nearly beating the shit and choking a student, as much as I'd like to. You just can't. You just can't choke a student. You can't. And it's good that they use that moment to be, the deciding factor in the movie, to where Jon Voight's like, okay, well, I hope you'll forgive me for nearly killing a kid. So follow me to the field, and they won't go. And then, he's like, all right, I've gone too far. I've gone over the bend, and it's time to make a change. And then with as if they knew that, James Van Der Beek's like, well, we waited in here like assholes for long enough. Let's go out and do things our way, and we'll win the game, and it'll be fine because this is Hollywood, which I'm okay with. As sarcastic as I'm being, like, that part of Varsity Blues lines up with any other sports movie like this, where it could going right back to Necessary Roughness. Be yourselves, and everything will be all right. Win or lose, maintain your integrity. That's the important thing. So, couple of notes that I have. It's a little too long. This movie drags in places. I wish they would. I think 90 minutes would have been fine. This I think might be around the 2-hour mark, and you get the point fairly early on, and they never make another point. And building up to Billy Bob alluding to killing himself. That's the big turnaround point in the movie. The strip club scene is way too long. I think Varsity Blues is an okay movie, but it needed another pass through editing. Because as it stands right now, the way it is, it's too long. A lot of scenes overstay their welcome. It keeps making the same points over and over and over again, kind of like our podcast. And I'm not entirely certain any of this was needed. Varsity Blues feels like a great project that got self-indulgent way too quickly. I don't have anything else to say about it. It is what it is. I think it's a cultural touchstone, and I'm glad that we talked about it. But outside of that, did James Van Der Beek do anything in film besides Varsity Blues? Because I feel like he's known for Dawson's Creek and this, and that's all.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much that's it. I mean, if you look at his filmography, I mean, there's probably some things out there, but nothing on the level of Dawson's Creek in this.
Hey, you want to take a swing at wondering why James Van Der Beek wasn't a bigger movie star?
I'm going to say because he got pigeonholed in Dawson's Creek, the crying meme that we famously see now. I mean, and the fact that he never, I really didn't think he took acting very seriously, and he didn't really pursue acting much.
Here, let's ask Fancy.
All right,
why didn't
Fancy don't let me down?
Why didn't James Van Der Beek?
But just another thing here. I mean, you have football in Texas is a life. There's a line in this movie where they play an away game, and the announcer said, football in Texas is the last person out shuts the lights off. And that is really how Texas football is. I mean, you have communities that shut down at 5 o'clock on a Friday night because of their high school football team.
Okay. Short answer: timing, typecasting, and a mismatch between his strengths and what film was rewarding in 2000s. Longer, clean breakdown. James Van Der Beek became famous at the exact wrong moment to convert TV stardom into durable film stardom. He was too identified with one role, Dawson's Creek, made him a household name, but it also locked him into earnest, verbose, emotionally articulate, non-threatening male lead energy. That worked on TV in the early 2000s. In cinema, it didn't. Film at that time was pivoting toward irony, edge, physicality, and anti-heroes. Van Der Beek's core skill set read as sincere when the culture wanted detached. He lacked a clean lane in movies. His film choices couldn't reset his image. He was in Rules of Attraction, Texas Rangers. Yeah, I don't fucking remember any of this. So yeah, just one of those where he didn't hit the zeitgeist right.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and like I said, it was the meme. He got pigeonholed in that Dawson Creek role. But yeah, I mean, there's Texas high school football is life. But there's something else I can't remember. It must not have been too important. But I mean, all three films are great football movies. They get you hyped up for this coming Sunday, especially if you watch the program. I mean, you don't even have to watch the entire program; just watch the hit at the table scene, and you'll be happy.
So my son showed me something on TikTok called edits, where it's a lot of banging and clanging, edited bits of things. So like a lot of punching and kicking edited together, and it sounds like We Will Rock You. So someone just do an edit of Latimer stuff.
That's probably out there. I mean, I've seen the edit of the 8 Mile Rap, Lose Yourself. Lose Yourself. I've seen the edit of it's like 150 movies singing Lose Yourself by Eminem, and that's pretty funny.
Yeah. All right. That is our Super Bowl show as picked by Jason. I think next year we decided we're going to do two things, not both for the Super Bowl. One for the Super Bowl is, what did we say? No, it was the kids ones, right? Underdogs, Little Giants, and what was the third one?
That's a good question. I can't remember. It was Underdog, Little Giants, and hold on, I'll tell you.
We are the Titanic or something.
Oh yeah, Remember the Titans.
That's the one.
Yeah, Titanic, Titans, same difference.
Sure, everyone sinks.
A Denzel movie for Black History Month.
That's right. Anyway, so that's what we're gonna do next year for the Super Bowl. Little Giants. I mean, we're still doing this. Little Giants, Underdogs with Snoop Dogg, and because I really want to watch the movie since I've seen every scene of it on TikTok. Remember the Titans. This kicks off we really started Black History Month with Bamboozled, but I didn't want to push the Super Bowl show off further than we had to have. So the next Black History Month show we're doing is Break In and Break In 2 Electric Boogaloo. And then we've got the Book of Clarence, the American Society of Magical Negroes, and They Cloned Tyrone. That is our Nobody Supports Black Films triple feature. And finally, we're ending Black History Month with a look at Denzel Washington. What an amazing catalog of movies he's made. We're going to focus on three of his best: Glory, Mo Better Blues, and John Q. And if you're wondering why aren't you doing Training Day, you got an Oscar for Training Day, because I've already done Training Day. And I've already talked about how his acting was essentially him smacking his dick into the scenery. A lot.
Sure. Yeah.
The King Kong. This past Monday, myself and Jesse talked the CM Punk Cullen Bunn run on Drax. And then we looked at Drax Earthfall. Monday, myself, Jason, and Robert got into a screaming fight over Send Help. Alexis and Sean appear to still be alive, I guess, after they did Percy Jackson season 2. I keep making the joke. You just smile and nod, baby. Think back and think of England when I tell you this, or just look at your batch and ignore me. I keep thinking, Jason quit and she hired Sean, so she really didn't lose anything. It was the same guy.
But yeah, close enough. I'll accept it.
And finally, this Sunday is the Super Bowl, so there'll be no show. However, my Valentine's Day album, Cyrano de Bechamel, from Fra Diavolo, will be out on the 8th. So, Jason, I'm going to need you to go to Spotify on the 8th and download Fra Diavolo, Cyrano de Bechamel, and play those songs. Play those songs for Pookie. Pookie needs to hear these songs so that she's reminded how much you love and adore her. Because that's what Cyrano Bechamel is about. It's about love and adoration.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, Mark. I don't trust any music you're you recommend. But I would like to do. There's one music show, Metal Hammer and Doom. I would love to do with you. I would love to do a Steel Panther show with you.
We've done quite a few of those, as a matter of fact.
I know, and because Steel Panther holds, it's tied to my ENT curve.
I'll tell you what. If you give Cyrano Bechamel a fair listen and show it to Pookie, I promise she's not going to say to you, "What the hell is wrong with Mark?" I'm trying to tell you that these are sincere love songs. These are covers, as a matter of fact. I covered Fra Diavolo, covered Maureen McGovern's "Can You Read My Mind." You know where "Can You Read My Mind's" from?
No.
It's the flying scene in Super. Why does no one know this? It's the flying scene in Superman where Lois is like, where he like takes her around Metropolis and she's like, "Can you read my mind? Do you know what I'm thinking?" It's that song that was sung by Maureen McGovern.
Okay.
Anyway, there's that. There's "Don't Know Much" by Linda Ronstadt as duetted with Aaron Neville.
I love that song. That's a great song.
That is a great song, and it's done so well by Fra Diavolo. And then there's
that the answer to that is no.
And then there's "How Am I Supposed to Live Without You" by Laura Branigan.
Okay.
And then finally, Chris Bailey. Our finale song is, sorry, not our finale song because there's 5 songs. The next one I did, and I turned it into like a Christian rock song, is "You Light Up My Life" by Debbie Boone.
Interesting. Okay.
And then we finale with "The Way We Were." "The Way We Were," Jason, by Barbra Streisand.
Oh God.
Giant Barbra Streisand.
I got a weird feeling about this. but if you send me what I need to look on Spotify, I'll at least give it a hearty attempt.
Okay, I will. Trust me. Listen, I was, and then everyone was promptly ignoring me, and it made me sad and angry. You guys wonder why I'm in the mood I'm in these days. I've been telling you, I was sending out my songs, and I was promptly ignored. Is what happened. So I will send you Cyrano Bechamel when it drops. How do you like that? Hey, did I tell you the other thing I did? No, I didn't, because I haven't told anybody. So you know how I've been like weirdly obsessed with Jake the Snake Roberts' Hall of Fame speech?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know how the Basketball Diaries features the Jim Carroll band singing all the people who died?
Yeah.
I took the beat and song and lyrical structure of all the people who died and merged it with Jake the Snake's Hall of Fame speech, where he incongruently and non sequiturly said, "All my friends are dead." So the song is a recitation of all of Jake the Snake's contemporaries who have died, and the chorus is, "All my friends are dead."
Excellent. That should be interesting.
Comes out in a week. I'll send it right to you so you can listen to it. It is the band. The band that made that song is the passive-aggressive, pansexual Peanut Butters.
Okay.
That's my band. It's my other band. I have 2.
I was going to say, how many bands you got?
I got 2, not counting the Rattlelegend Broadcasting stuff that is part of Sessions. Jason, are you doing any plugs? Are you doing like any Final Fantasy? Are you doing any fantasy football shit?
No, I mean, fantasy football's over. My fantasy football season ended the first in week 18. Well, actually, week 17 payouts came out on week 18. So I'm actually, as far as going, I'm preparing for the draft and to see what, because I'm in a lot of dynasty leagues. And outside of that, only thing I'm really doing is, you got the month of Jason here on the Rattlelegend Broadcasting Network, and I'm doing homework. I'm trying to get my bachelor's degree, and that's pretty much it. Outside of work, doing this show this month, and homework, I don't have time for anything else. I've got to replace the hot water heater this tank this weekend, so that's going to be fun, and with me not trying to burn my house down.
All right. Well, while Jason's working in a coal mine in West Virginia, Monday is the RIP, the Wrecking Crew, and Roofman. That'll be myself, and that'll be me torturing Robert. And then on Tuesday, Alexis will torture me by making me watch the pilot episode of the new Muppet Show. I will be on the Miguel Connor podcast. We'll see how that goes on Wednesday. And then the aforementioned Breakin' and Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo on Thursday. And then a week from Saturday, this got put off a bunch, but we're doing it now. We're doing it live. This is a comic book adjacent podcast. We're looking at Oblivion, Snowpiercer, and The Fountain. All right, everyone enjoy the Super Bowl. For Jason, I'm losing bets. Be well, be safe, and behave.